and making a difference in the world and sending the message of, activism. Because to me, what you do in the Mexican Republic, that's activism.
Yeah, but I feel a little, like I show that slide of a woman with all those threads. I didn't set out to be an activist. That would be a total lie. I tell you how we got in this project. I was the one kicking and screaming and saying, but how can we do this? I'm a worrywart. How can we do this? But the thing that you do, one of the things you do as a writer, where it starts is you pay attention. I love the Buddha story of when the Buddha became famous. People went to the Buddha and they said, Buddha, are you God? I'm not God. Buddha, are you a saint? I'm not a saint. Well, Buddha, what are you? He said, I'm awake. So if you're a writer, part of what you develop is paying attention and being awake. And if your being awake is connected at all to your heart, when you wake up and you see things, you might not even want to bother, but how could you not? How could you not do something? And so I think activism, it's not that you're really political. I always thought I had really political friends that were Minerva. They were real ideology. They had the ideology. They had read the books. They had the philosophy. I'm more of a...
Well, you were practice.
I'm more of the grassroots. I know one of the bird people. They approach me. They need something. I don't want to bother, but it's a pebble in my shoe. It's a pebble in my shoe. How can I not do something? So I think it's just that if you're awake, in whatever you do, if you're a teacher, whatever you do, if you're awake, you're paying attention. And if that quality of awakeness is at all connected to your heart, that's where activism gets started. I think it's just I have a friend, she was in Ethiopia. She was in Ethiopia because they're starting an orphanage for HIV positive kids that don't have parents. And they went there, a whole group, activist group, and they toured all the orphanages. Their last afternoon, the host wanted to take them to a hospice. And they said, why are you going to take us to a hospice? We've seen the orphanages, why are you taking us there? He says, I want you to see what happens when you do nothing. And I think that as a writer, part of what you do as a storyteller, I want you to see what happens when you do nothing. I want you to see what happens to Dominicans, to Americans that supported the administration that supported the dictatorships in Latin America. I want you to see what happens when you let this happen to 3 women. You have to do it small, because that's how it enters your heart. The heart is small. You have to do it through details. This is what happens when you do nothing. This is one of the lines in the book, and you write things that you don't know you knew. And that's why I believe a little bit in Santeria, because how the hell did I know this, And one of the things that I think is that May says in the book is, a dictator only succeeds because there's a little Trujillo in each of us. We let this happen. We let this happen. And so, again, I'm going to sound like I'm, like doing PR for Occupy Wall Street. Saying, you know what? We let this happen. We can do something other than this. And it's very powerful. I don't know about you, the Arab Spring, to see people get out there, and there was many casualties, and say, you know what, we've had it. And one of the most powerful things is when they made a human chain around the museum to protect it, from vandalism. The people got and they made a human chain. I have a wonderful photo that I got from a friend that emailed it to me of people holding hands and making a new. That to me is so powerful. So I don't think it's that someone is so much better or so much more. I'm not Minerva. I would have been more like Bebe, the worry board, the scaredy cat. I don't know. But how can you not when someone knocks at your door?
My name is Preston Lopez.